Catherine, tell us a little bit about your kind of sustainability agenda in all sense, because we've said that, you know, the carbon footprint is reduced, you're not able to fly, so there are those restrictions, so that all kind of impacts on, you know, kind of, I suppose, being more responsible in terms of the environment, etc. So just tell us a bit about the sustainability agenda.
I'm so excited about sustainability, Shaun. You know, my mum died in 2018, and it made me realize that I'm next in line, and I want to leave this earth knowing that I've done as much as I can to not pollute the planet. So it's been a big drive for me to turn All Saints into the most sustainable brand at the scale that we are. So we are trying to turn a lot of our garments into sustainable garments. At the moment, we're working with a business called Sandcraft, and they are helping us set up a barometer as to what is sustainable to All Saints and why is it sustainable. So a lot of our garments have sustainable attributes, but we are working on a message as to how we're going to communicate with the customer, because at the moment I'm really hoping that I don't have to use more tags to tell the story about sustainability. I would like to tell the story of sustainability more in a virtual way, or on an online way, or in a global way. So for example, this is my big dream, all of All Saints denim or all of All Saints jersey is sustainable instead of one item. So I want it to be a big project and not not like a nucleus project.
So we've got, you know, all those the kind of different elements that kind of make up you know, how we are or how it could be sustainable, and it goes all the way back, you know, to growing the yarn. Mm-hmm. And then
reusing the yarn, because that's a really beautiful thing as well.
Yeah.
Reusing regenerated cashmere, you know, and recycled polyester, and reusing things is amazing.
And so how does that typically work? So where does the stuff come from? Because there's a lot of, obviously, landfill. Where does all this, you know, the reused wool or cashmere?
So we work with really gorgeous and great Italian yarn companies who do regenerated cashmere or recycled cashmere, and then we also use really amazing Korean and Japanese mills who do recycled polyester or Ecovera viscose. So we source people who actually do all of that's their area of expertise. Our fabric suppliers this is their area of expertise. So they will either source, you know, to get the polyester, they will use single-use plastic bottles, or they will use polyester that's been from offcuts that they can break down and make back into a fabrication.
And then, so if you've got all that reuse, mm-hmm. The question is always, I suppose, at the end of it, somebody will buy something. What do they then do with it?
So the great thing about our brand is that a lot of our price point is at the mid to upper premium market price point. So, you know, our average price point is higher. So a leather jacket is around £300 and upwards. So people don't buy All Saints just to wear something once. They buy it to wear for years. And that's the beauty of a leather jacket, is that it molds to your body the more you wear it. And the same with our dresses. You know, our dresses are around £150 to £200. It's not a disposable price point. When someone buys something from All Saints, they wear it for years, and they wear it again and again and again. And the interesting thing that I found with All Saints, that whenever I feel like, you know, I want to re-gift my items to someone, everybody loves getting my All Saints, I don't want to use this term, but hand-me-downs, but they love it. So it's not a disposable brand.
So, and that's becoming quite a common theme now in fashion, is that people are saying, you know, you buy once rather than buying and throwing.
You buy right. Yeah.
Rather than throwing things away. And there's also been a big emergence in the hiring market. Mm-hmm. You know, that you can rent a dress or rent a bag or rent.
That's right.
And you know, is that something that kind of All Saints would explore? Do some of those companies that are online that are doing that already, do they offer All Saints product?
So Bloomie's did a trial last year, and they bought some of our garments, which they then rented, and one of our leather jackets was their #1 most rented item. And the weird thing is that we then sold more jackets in this department store than we'd ever sold before, and it's because it was on their rental landing page, and then some customers rented them and wore them, and then wanted to buy one. So yeah, rental doesn't necessarily always mean you're going to sell less. It might mean that you introduce people who would not have worn All Saints to a new customer base.
Yeah. And then, so just going back to the sustainability thing, when you're designing and you're putting the collection together, are you consciously working around that idea of embedding the sustainability into the...
My brief to the designers are, if it's not sustainable, I don't want to see it. So that's my brief. But now I'm just outlining for my design team what is sustainable for us as a brand at All Saints, because obviously we've been using the barometers that is used in the industry, but we can ascertain our own barometers as what is sustainable.
And have you kind of pursued any blockchain? So kind of the full track and trace from origin of
traceability. So we've been working with regards to traceability with our yarns from our yarn suppliers, and also our leather from our leather from our leather suppliers, and we are looking to trace it all the way back to the farm. We aren't there yet, Shaun, but we are a business in progress. So at the moment we can trace nearly every single leather jacket back to the abattoir and know exactly which country the hide comes from, but we'd like to go all the way back to the farm. That's our big dream.
Right. And so does that then impact on the price of the goods? Because all these things are, they come at a cost.
It does. Some of them cost a little bit more than others, but the interesting thing about our supply base is that our partners really want to do this because they also care about the environment and really care about what we're doing.
So do you think then, just going back to where we started, do you think that kind of the position we're in has impacted on the way people are thinking about, life and impact of their actions and, the kind of the longevity of a product and its impact on the environment? Do you think that this whole thing has forced the change or expedited it?
I think so. It's definitely expedited it. Definitely. Because I think if you're not sustainable, I think you're not thinking about the globe and you're not thinking about the future.
Tell us about kind of where you think fashion is going. What does the future hold?
I think the future for fashion is for people who are thinking about the future, for people who are caring about the planet, for buying things and making things that have longevity, that you want to wear for a long time and that you will love and you will add to your wardrobe and it will complement what you already have. I think fashion, in my mind, is no longer about buying something and then disposing of it. I mean, I only have a few T-shirts, but the T-shirts that I have, I love. I only have a few leather jackets and, I work for a leather jacket brand, but the leather jackets that I have fit a lot of my different outfits. And the dresses that I have are very easy to wear. They're very easy day wear dresses that you can wear again and again and again without someone saying, oh, you're wearing the same dress again. There's different ways to dressing and wearing the things that we've got. So in my mind, the future of fashion is exciting because we're learning every day. I learn about a new yarn or a new fabrication or something new that the fabric suppliers are doing to transform our world, or a process, or the denim suppliers are using 80% less water and they're achieving the same sort of abrasions that we used to achieve with stone washing and really engineering a garment. So it's so, in my mind, it's so exciting what's going on in fashion. And also the way people are really loving and caring for garments and, reusing, reselling, and reinventing. So, and I love garments that can be used for multi-purposes as well. And a lot of our garments you can use in different ways. So I personally think for the right people, the future of fashion is exciting. I personally am very concerned about disposable fashion. My view is I do not want to use the world's resources.
Yeah. Because I was thinking, you know, in the kind of 50s or 60s, you know, it was fashion was quite grand. You know, you dressed up to go somewhere. You know, a man would wear a hat, a woman would wear a hat. They'd have a coat and a suit, or you know, a dress, petticoats, whatever they were wearing. And now, you know, sort of 50 or 60 years later, it's changed beyond recognition.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you think that will kind of continue? Do you think, I mean, what more can change?
I actually think it's got more exciting because now, as you talked about, you know, the whole blockchain and the circular economy, what's really exciting is now that you have the ability to know who made your T-shirt. I find that really, really exciting. And, you know, if I think of the workmanship and the skill that goes into making one of our leather jackets or one of our beautiful dresses and the sewing, well, I mean, if you've ever tried to sew a straight line and then you sew it on a silk blend or on a viscose, you know, or on and you know how slippery, or a really lovely satin, it's really difficult to be able to sew a really beautiful straight line. So the skill in sewing is outstanding, and just celebrating a garment is a gorgeous thing that you can. I just love the idea that you will buy something and you will love it for a long time. That brings me joy. And buying the best instead of buying a lot, isn't it better to have less assets but really ones that you treasure and ones that make you feel good? Because when you buy something that makes you feel good, it actually helps your self-esteem, makes you feel like you're worth it. I mean, I just think that's the future.
Yeah, and I mean, then I think you can think that there are similarities, you know, to the 50s and 60s, where, you know, you wouldn't have 25 pairs of shoes, you might have 3, and you'd look after them. You know, if you had a suit, you would look after it, or a dress, you'd look after it, and you know, take much more care. And also in those days, you know, things were made much simpler, just in terms of the way things, you know, just things worked. But now we have technology. So, you know, there's a different, you know, the emphasis is slightly different because we've got social media, and that influences how people buy, what they buy. And that is, you know, it's a kind of part of our lives. So, you know, thinking about that, what role do you think that will have in terms of, you know, All Saints and how they interact with their customers about what you were saying, you know, the issues that are close to your heart?
You know, what's really interesting is that obviously influencers do obviously really help sales of garments, because if a girl or a guy sees something gorgeous on an influencer or something super cool on an influencer, they're going to want to have it. So it does definitely help. It helped the sale. But actually, there's a huge shift in the market at the moment towards what does the brand that you like believe? What is their, you know, what is their stance on Black Lives Matter? What is their stance on equality when it comes to, you know, gender or race? Or so it's really, there's a huge transition in the market, and it's not just about clothes. And people really want to know that you are a brand of integrity, or what are your beliefs, and does the customer align with those beliefs? So it's a huge change.
Great. Catherine, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we very much appreciate the valuable insights from you for the
Thank you for having me, Shaun. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Okay.